Welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. How are you today? I'm doing good. I'm going to take a good walk and then a run here. But before I get into it too deep, I wanted to talk to you guys about some of the social misfirings that are going on right now. This is a little bit of my opinion, a little bit of editorializing about the news. Right? There's a lot going on in the world right now. And I've been waiting to discuss this topic for a few days because I wanted to see how it shakes out, how it's politically attacked or politically used. You know, the old Rahm Emanuel, never let a good crisis go to waste. Well, we had in Colorado, just a few miles from Columbine, we had another student-on-student incident. And I was waiting and waiting and waiting for a politician to step out with legislation in hand, lawyers at the ready, you know, ready to just talk about how evil guns are. Well, it's my opinion that what happened there in Colorado with those two students, it was not a false flag. It was not premeditated. It wasn't a setup because no one was there to take advantage of it. What we ended up with, though, was an actor, a young male actor, right? He was into drama, drama class, acting. Isn't that funny? You know, what they did, killing people, wasn't funny. But the fact that this kid is a drama student, to me, is funny. Not funny in a humorous sense, but rather, you know, a WTF sense. You know, I feel bad for everyone involved in this because it's a sign of the times. It's an indicator of what's going on. You see, on the left, politically, they're conducting a massive social experiment with everybody that they can drag into it. And these kids that are becoming violent, that are acting out, I don't even think they understand what they're doing, in the sense that they don't understand they're hurting other people. They don't understand. They just don't get it. They don't fucking get it. This kid, the male of the two shooters, blamed Christians because they have a belief that homosexuality is bad. You see, but the Christians aren't hurting anybody. They're not shooting anybody. You know, the left, on the other hand, the leftists, the social justice warriors, the new social paradigm masters, what do we know about them? They think they are right. You know, just as much as the Christians think they're right. But the difference is that the left is actually taking action. The left feels no compunction, no worries, right? They probably think it's cute that this kid went and shot somebody. And actually, there were two shooters. Once again, you know, these leftists act in groups. And they act without warning. You know, the male shooter's parents were very upset, right? They didn't see it coming. They didn't understand it. But, you know, there were some signs. And it's hard to say what signs are, you know, a joke. The fact that, you know, kids have funny perspectives. You don't expect them to actually act out on things. But they're starting to do it more frequently. Now, you would say, well, John, it happens, you know, once every couple of months. So how bad can it be out there? Well, they want to ban all guns. They want to destroy your Second Amendment right over things like this. So they can't say, well, it doesn't happen all that often, so it's not a problem, right? They use that logic on us, right? Well, we got a serious problem if this has happened once, because one life lost to stupidity from leftist-leaning people is too many, right? It's too many. These kids, the two of them, the two shooters, brought guns to school, handguns And I think 5 total shotguns, maybe a rifle. But they only used the handguns. And some other kids, heroic, stopped them. One of those heroic kids ended up losing their life. Getting shot. Terrible tragedy, terrible. But what this boils down to is there was a retaliation by a socialist, by a progressive liberal, because he didn't like how other people thought. Essentially, he was being his own little thought Nazi. That's right, he was there to execute people. Randomly or semi-randomly, just go into a class and start shooting. Right? So he played the guitar, he was a drama guy. And this is what we get from that type of thinking. We get violence, and we also get what? Acceptance of violence on their side of things. If there was a right-wing separatist wacko who walked in and started blowing people away, I don't think anyone on the right would cheer. I don't know anyone on the right who cheered when they shot that church up in Christchurch, New Zealand. Nobody did. Right? Nobody cheers that type of crap. Yet, they play these games with us. They play these ridiculous games. Well, the second shooter is also very interesting. And also speaks to the same problem. It was one of these young folks that has a gender issue. They didn't know it was a girl until they interviewed her, and it turned out to be a female who liked to dress like a boy or act like a boy or wear hair like a boy, right? Their problem on the left is violence, and it's symptomatic of all the other issues. It's symptomatic of all the other issues that are going on out there. So the question for you as a prepper is, do you expect this to get better or worse? These kids, one was a minor. That was the girl. They can't release her name. The other was a boy. They've released his name. They appeared in court today. Right? But these people, these kids, have at least a decade of indoctrination under their belt. Up here, they're gone. Right? As much as I have been indoctrinated with the idea that freedom is good, right? That liberty creates prosperity, right? That concepts like liberty and freedom and a protective document like the Constitution, right, provide us all with equal opportunities. That's the indoctrination I have. And as a result of getting that indoctrination, I'm nonviolent. Right? I help people. I work for what I get. That type of shit. Right? The left wants to see this country torn to pieces. They're conducting an experiment with people's lives and their minds. And we're starting to see the fruit of that. Right? You can know a tree, whether it's good or evil, by its fruit. And man, are we seeing the fruits come out. Day after day, month after month. Now, once again, John, this only happens every couple of months. What's the big deal? So a couple Fruit Loops, spill out of the bowl. Make a mess. Well, what I can tell you is that, I have young sons. One's in college, one's in high school. My high school son and I talked last night about how these kids are behaving. The leftists are violent. They are physically and verbally abusive towards others that they believe don't think the way they do. In other words, even in high school, both girls and boys, and gender-confused girls and boys, have very, very, very violent and antagonistic personalities. And they're willing to lash out at others in response, right, to the way they feel on the inside of themselves. When shit hits the fan as we get closer to it, expect to see more of this. Expect to see a lot more of this. People losing their shit. Right? There's a loss of reality. Right? They don't seem to have reality on their side anymore. You know, when shit does hit the fan, right, reality is going to change. And that is a fact. It is going to change. This idea of having a free lunch and a free ride every day, that's going to absolutely evaporate overnight. And it's coming. We're seeing it militarily, politically. We're seeing it economically. We're seeing it socially. Right? There's going to be backlash for this. And unfortunately, an entire generation of kids is lost to this mentality that there are no rules except the rules that they make for themselves. You know, they're becoming, the youth are being transformed into hedonists. That is, just pleasure seekers for the moment. They don't think to the future. There's all kinds of problems with the mentality. Anyways, just some thoughts for you. The left is violent. The left, it does not tolerate anyone. And even amongst themselves, they fight. They're violent, they're intolerant, and they're ignorant. Ignorant of history, ignorant of what they're doing at the present, and they're ignorant of the future that's coming for them. So get prepared now, right? Chance favors the prepared mind. Please share links to any videos with others so that we can get the word spread and people can be prepared. Prepared so they don't become a victim like the students at that school. You guys be cool. I'll talk to you again very soon.